get top dollar on a sale and to avoid the biggest mistakes that cost you lots of money.
Yep.
Hello, everybody. My name is Roxanne Gavari with Pemberley Realty here in San Diego, California, along with my partner, Santiago Guerin.
Hello, everyone. Great topic today on making sure you don't mess up and lose money, right?
That's right.
You're doing the good steps, taking good steps, and getting top dollar for your place.
So we have a great specimen to actually talk about, or maybe I should say a storyline uh, or um, or evidence of
Yeah.
success, right?
Yeah.
To discuss with our audience. So let's actually talk about that because I would say that the closing that we had on 4640 Park Boulevard was a great success,
It was an amazing success.
right?
Oh yeah.
So the product itself was definitely one of a kind of a product. So that I think by itself helped to get top dollar. But it wasn't just that helped us get top dollar, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and let me share my screen so that we can
Do it.
look at everything about the property. So two bedrooms, two bath, 1670 square feet, built in 2002 in University Heights. And it was on the market for about 13 days before we went pending.
Yeah.
We
Two
had
weeks.
list 2 weeks, two
Yeah.
weeks,
Basically.
and we had listed it at 1,150,000, and we ended up getting we ended up selling it for 1,175,000, so $25,000 above what we were asking for. Let's go with the comps, right? So we
Mhm.
went at first we went and looked for the comps in 92116, right? And first search for other attached pieces of property that were like it.
Mhm.
So let me go back, and I think we went back, if I'm not mistaken, we went back a year,
Mhm.
but found a particular property. So let me see, and this property was 1672 square feet. So we'll search for 1,500 to 1,800 square feet, and let's see if we find the one that I have in mind. Actually, this is the one that we picked as our comparison. So it was three bedrooms, two baths, 1612 square feet. They had it at 1,149,000, but at 1,049,000 they did not get it sold,
Yeah.
and then they reduced it to 1,139,000, and then they sold it at 1,135,000.
Yeah.
So and if you look at this property, it's right on Adams Avenue. That's the building,
Yeah.
and then you go in. So you have a nice entrance. You have a bedroom downstairs, and then you have a patio, very similar to the
Yeah.
patio that we had, right?
Mhm.
And then you have the main living room, fireplace, nicely done kitchen, dining area. Again, the patio very similar to ours, and washer and dryer inside, which is what we had as well. And and a two-car garage. So we basically picked this as our comparison, and then we said, okay, so if this sold for 1,035,000, we should be able to get a little bit more because we are further west. We're on Park Boulevard. We're like
Yeah.
right at the heart of it, and we're a little bit bigger in square footage. So we listed ours at a million. a million one, million 150. And so now, if you look at the comparison of what we had, so there's the entrance to the building, and then we come in, and I think we have a little bit more of the wow factor than
Yeah.
that one because of the high ceilings and everything, right? And we also are right in the heart of everything, and just I think overall, if you compare this to that unit, it's a much more attractive unit. But nevertheless, very similar in terms of the type of product that it is.
Yeah.
So I think one of the reasons why we actually got as much interest as we got was because we didn't say, okay, we're similar to the other unit, but we're so much more attractive and so much better. Let's go list it at 1.2, 1.3, 1.4,
Yeah.
which if we had done that, we probably would have still been on the market and still had no interest. So
Definitely.
I think strategically we priced it right.
Yeah. I mean, and then we priced it right, and we got an offer that was above asking. So, uh, if we would have probably gone, like you said, higher, maybe that buyer that came in and offered that amount, would be scared away to submit an offer at that higher value. So,
And this is one of those things that sellers always say, well, we can always list it higher and and buyers can make an offer lower. But in reality, that's not the right buyer behavior.
yeah.
If
Hmm.
the buyer feels that the property is overpriced, they're just going to sit on the sidelines and they're just going to stare at it, but they're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah. And then something too that I kind of like how you explain it is, the market is basically the one that decides the price of the home. Because if you can never underprice a home, right? You know, there's going to be multiple offers, and then you're just going to counter those back, and get a higher number. So it's
Exactly.
going to end up selling at market value. So like being scared about coming in at competitive price like we did with this one is not such a bad idea.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. Now, the other thing, let's talk about the other thing because it's not just pricing. Pricing is one of the issues that we need to consider. But beyond pricing, there's also other elements, right? For example, we painted the whole thing. Well, we painted the property strategically. Didn't repaint the whole entire thing, but we repainted just so that it shows well and it shows as good as it can show. We also took care of some of the items that needed to be fixed up, and some maintenance issues that needed to be done. We did all of those as well, and then we mm, also staged the property.
Yeah.
And as you can see, that the staging also really did well because it looked really good once we actually went ahead and staged the property.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I think, at least in today's market, makes a whole lot of difference is all the preparations that we did for social media. Let me go ahead and get this one off and go ahead and show the um, um, the preparations that we did with um, with uh, let me see if I can go ahead and share. Interesting. I'm trying to share the other screen that I have, and let me see if I can figure this out, Santi.
Yeah, I mean, while you're trying to figure out, I kind of also want to bring out, about the preparations that you're talking about, brokers opens that we held too, for getting getting those agents out there to come and look at the place, and basically talk good of the property, show it around, their potential buyers. That's always a good thing to do, and I think that was also a good success that we had. So, so
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. We also did brokers opens. We shared the property with other brokers. As a matter of fact, one of the high interest that we had at the property came through one of those brokers that saw it at a brokers open, and that was definitely very effective. And now if we're looking through our social media, we also did a number of videos for the property, and from when we went on the market until we actually sold the property, we did a number of videos that ran through our social media about the property, and generated a lot of buzz. So this is an example of one of the videos that we made. That not necessarily the entirety of the property being shown, but having to be creating some buzz around it definitely helps. And the aim of it is to constantly feature the property on social media,
yeah,
and then as you can see on the side, we were featuring everything about the property on social media, and this was playing on a regular basis around the property, which also helped a lot.
yeah,
So
you can see the views on some of these. It's like we're getting like 700, almost 1,000. If you see that other one that's had a
yeah,
thousand
this one
views,
this one had 1,074
so
views.
definitely getting some people to take a look at, see the property.
Exactly. And then also here's another one that got 1,000 views of the property. So these are all different excerpts of the property with here's a static version of the house. This is actually a video, a full-on video that we made of the property, and also to feature the biggest attraction about this property was how close it was to the heart of University Heights, where everything is happening. So it was a combination of social media, um, strategically pricing the property right, and doing a lot of prep work ahead of time, making sure that there was no major issues with the property, then staging it well, doing a lot of open houses, and showing all the features of the property clearly. So we created that excitement and the buzz around the unit. And then once we found an actual buyer that was interested, then also worked really well with the other agent, because it's always a two-way street, right? People
Yeah,
think it's just one agent that always sells the house, and almost always that is not the case,
yeah.
right? You're working with some other agent, and that synergy is also very, very important to
Mhm.
make sure you get to the finish line. And you're the expert in that part of the transaction. So what are
Uh,
some of the tips that you can give?
Yeah, I mean, just being in constant communication with both parties, with the on the buyer side, and keeping a good relationship with them is very important too. And working together, it's basically we're working as a team to get things closed. So usually that's how I go on about it, and it works pretty well with me. Making
What
sure we get
about
the finish line.
What about staying on top of the lender, staying on top of the appraiser,
Yeah,
staying on top of the repair requests? What
yeah,
about all of
definitely.
that?
Yeah, I mean, being on top of all that, making those follow-up calls, I always make sure, weekly I have my set times to follow up, to check up on if the appraisal was ordered, if how it came back, the request, when the contingencies are due. I'll be on top of that, and I'll make sure I'll be reminding the other side to chop chop if they're running out of time on certain stuff. So, uh, you know, being on top of all their dates is something that I'm checking all the time. So
Right, exactly, exactly. So it's a combination of marketing, strategically pricing, preparing the property for sale, and also cooperating with the other side to make
mhm.
sure everything comes together and everybody is successful in accomplishing the same goal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you don't want to during that transaction go cold on the other side and not answer their calls or any questions that they have. Always being able to stay open with them and be quick and efficient just makes everything so much easier for everyone.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, that's the long and short of it. And also, I think the last part, which is probably not as fun, but just as important, is to make sure that the paperwork is intact and you're following the deadlines and getting to the finish line in a timely manner so that you can um, avoid complications and also avoid lawsuits.
Definitely, definitely. Basically, sitting down and making sure that your disclosures are filled out correctly,
Mhm.
that you're being detailed with everything, and yeah, just so things can go smooth once we do have that offer on hand and we can get going.
Okay, so I think essentially, basically, managing risk management,
Yeah. Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So price the property correctly, execute on the marketing
That it
uh,
shows well. Yeah.
flawlessly,
Hmm.
right? And make sure that you're negotiating and getting top dollar during your negotiation period, and stay out of trouble by managing the risks.
Yeah. Definitely. Yep.
All right. Okay. So that is basically how you would execute perfectly, right?
Hmm.
And now and so on the other side of it, I think what we want to avoid is overpricing the property,
Yeah.
right? And letting emotions make the decisions rather than rationality making the decisions,
Yes.
right? And also skipping preparation is also important, right?
Yeah.
uh, it's important not to skip preparation, which is one of those things that we made sure that we don't skip.
Yeah. We don't want to
And
have sloppy paperwork
exactly, exactly. Or
or the house money.
a property that's not ready for sale.
Hmm.
Got to make sure that the property is basically everything is checked and property is ready for sale before it goes out on the market. And
Definitely.
then the other thing is focusing on the sales price rather than on the net price, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So you want to make sure that you take all the costs into consideration. And we had this conversation with another client yesterday, right?
Yeah.
To produce a net sheet for them, which essentially um, uh, brings all the details of all the costs so that they're aware how much money they're going to get out of the sale after all the closing costs are paid.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
All right. Well, I think that is the recipe we of what to do and what not to do to get to a successful sale. We uh, that was a perfect example.
Yeah, definitely. I think that
Anything?
no, I don't think I have anything else to add. Just if you guys are thinking of buying or selling, reach out to us.
There you go. And on that note, let's go ahead and share our information. So we are realtors in San Diego, and if you are thinking of buying or selling, we would love to be your go-to team. There's my phone number, and you can also reach out to Santi. There's his phone number. We love to hang out on Instagram. So if you are seeing us on Instagram, please give us a follow. Or if you see us on Facebook or want to look for us on Facebook, there is our handle on Facebook. Our website is Pemberley Realty, and and uh, and of course, we love to sell in San Diego, but anywhere else, we want to be your go-to person as well. And if you're watching on us on YouTube, like Santi just said, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so that you can be notified every time we have a new video out.
Yep, definitely. So be on the lookout for our next video.
And thank you everybody for watching. We're looking forward to seeing you next time.
Bye, everyone.